First and foremost, I want to say all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that rule well. And salutations to you, brothers, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth. I really want to get into this quick lesson. Spirit got on me to put this here out, um, dedicated to the new brethren coming in, or the people that's on the fence. We in at the end, It's not that we're about to get to the end. We almost there. We almost out. This is it, Time to, wake up, come into the fold, do what you got to do to basically make that change, The Most High is speaking and working, You feel it in your spirit, It's just time to get to it, I want to bring out these two precepts real quick because this might be holding some of you brothers back, from crossing that line, First precept I want to get to is in Matthew chapter 12, verse. I'm gonna start at verse 46. Okay, Matthew 12 and 46. While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak to him. Speaking about Yahushua. Then one said unto him, Behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. But he answered and said unto him that told him, Who is my mother and who is my brethren? Okay. And he stretched forth his hands towards his disciples and said, Behold, my mother and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. Okay. So for you brothers that's watching these videos and it's in your spirit to do this work, and you're coming into this truth, first thing first, you get excited, and you want to start talking to your family about this and stuff like that. But scriptures say, for the most part, you're not going to basically, your family, the scripture, Yahweh Shah says he's coming to separate, the mother and the daughter and the father and the son, and so basically they're not going to get it, if it was given unto you, it was given unto you, And also it says, who is his mother and his brethren? But he stretched forth his hands to his disciples, the ones that's doing the will and the work of the Father, The brothers that's in this truth, that's pushing this word right now, we're feeding you out. We're your brethren, We're supposed to be, basically, speaking basically to one another, Supposed to be conversate with one another, building each other up, and putting the word forth for you new Akim coming in, building you brothers up, and also pushing forth these prophecies, edifying these prophecies, and prophesying the downfall of this kingdom, So the ones that's doing the will of the Father, that's your family, that's your real family. Those are the ones you're supposed to love and care for, and your so-called carnal family, they're gonna have to, they're gonna get it on the other side, and basically they're gonna start coming against you, so they're gonna want to become your enemy. So you can't put all you can't even, you have to learn to look at them a little different, because they're not gonna get it on this side. You just have to, if the, how do they say, the conflict is that you love your family and so on and so forth, but keep in mind that if you really love them, you do this work, the work the Most High, he commanded you to do, and on the other side, you're going to bring them back on this side, and you're going to teach them and bring them up. So if you really love them, do this work. You got to, how the scriptures say, cut off thy members. If one member offends you, cut that member off. And as a carnal example, that's not necessarily talking about a family member, more or less to say, but as a carnal example of that, if you're working around heavy machinery and your arm is getting sucked in, you rather get your arm cut off than your whole body get sucked in, because what's an arm to your whole life, yeah, your arm is important, but it's not that important that you lose your whole life for it. And the same way it goes for your family. Yeah, your family is important, you love your family, but at the same time, do you want to sacrifice your family? Do you want to give up the life that the Most High set up for you, or for your family, and y'all all gonna perish on this side anyway? Or do you want to at least try to obtain some kind of mercy and salvation from the Most High, that He might, be pleased by your works and your faith on this side, that He might bestow some kind of, mercy upon you and your family, So you have to keep that in mind. And also, your real family. You know, you're not gonna ever understand the bond that you're gonna have. You know, and the real family and the real family that you get when you come to this brotherhood. You know, and if you do this in truth and sincerity, you see how your real family, you know, the brotherhood, they actually build you up. They care for you more than your real family in this world. You know, they've actually given you more. You know, think of it this way. You know, coming up as Jake in this household. You know, if you're a man in the same mom, what have your parents actually ever done for you? How much have they ever really instilled inside of your mind? You know, how to live, let's say, on a carnal sense. How much advice did they give you to live a productive life and a how do they say, a profitable life here in Babylon? Not saying thinking about this as Babylon, but like, you know, what kind of information did they give you to benefit you financially? What did they teach you in a financial sense? What did they teach you about how the system was going to treat you, how Esau was going to treat you? What did they teach you about, you know, certain things like that? They didn't really teach you much because they didn't really know much. They didn't really care. But when you come into, what did they teach you about your diet and your health? You know, they sat there and fed you unhealthy foods. But when you come into this truth, you know, and you're watching these videos, the brother and they're telling you, you know, that they're edifying you on basically how to be a real man. And, you know, they treating you like basically when you first come in, you know, they're like your father figure. That, you know, they're teaching you, look, first and foremost, you don't want to deal with these type of women. You know, they all basically heathen. You don't want to eat these type of foods. It's destroying you. You want to have these type of moral standards and discipline. You know, you have a power to worship. You know, you have a real power. They gave you more. They've invested way more in you than your own so-called carnal family or your fleshly family. You know. So when you think about it that way, how much more do these people love you more? Like real love, you know? Real. They really care about you to build you up and give you this information to better you as a human, to better you in the face of the Most High. Forget being a better human being on this planet, you know? You're a better human being before the power of the whole earth, your creator, you know? You could stand, not necessarily say you could stand, you know, in you know, any kind of happiness or anything like that in front of the Most High because we all filthy rags, but you can kind of feel a little bit better about yourself that you're not as wicked as, you know, as you were before, you know, before your brother started raising you up. So keep that in mind, you know. Like Yahweh Shah said, he said, you know, the ones that the disciples, the ones that's doing the will of the Father, those are his mother and his brother. They care about him more. They care about what Yahweh Shah had going on. Yahweh Shah had what he had was going on was the Most High's plan going on. So, you know, they the ones that like, all right, this what you down for? That's what I'm down for. They standing behind you in your decisions wholeheartedly. How many of your regular family members would do that for you? You know, you trying to tell them about this truth and they going against you. Yahweh Shah told, you know, his disciples, who was his brother and stuff like that. They was also, you know, relatives, but he told the disciples and they believed him. You know, they put down everything that they had going on and they followed him in his plan. You know, and like I said, in a worldly sense, you might say you want to be a football player or something like that, and then your family's not, you know, behind your decisions or whatever, you know, for whatever reason. Or as a real example, you might be with this truth and you starting to see that your family is bucking up against it, you know, and just think about that when you're trying to do something for the Most High. You know, they'll do what you're doing with all kind of wickedness, but you know they don't want to stand with you for doing the work of the Most High. You know. Let me get to my next precept. This is gonna be in let me see, Luke. One second, Salakia. All right. This is Luke chapter 9, verse 50. I'm gonna start at verse 57. Yeah, I'm gonna start at verse 57. Luke chapter 9, verse 57. And it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man said unto him, Lord, I will follow thee wherever thou goest. Okay? So you say, you know, you want to do this work. You down for the Most High. You know, you down for Yahweh Shah's, you know, purpose. And Yahweh Shah said unto him, foxes have holes, and birds have air. Birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man have nowhere to lay his head. You know? I said, if you're really down for me, you basically be a provider for me. You know, how do I say, like, you'll be for the cause. I wouldn't have the need for you, you know. Like in the Psalms, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, you know. True brotherly love. Like, how is it that you say you're gonna follow me, but I'm in some kind of need, and I gotta let you know about my need. You can't be following me too much. You don't know what I even need, you know. You have to understand, you know, what what the Most High requires, you know, what He needs. He needs, you know, men to stand up and proclaim His word, you know, and bring in the elect. And He said unto another, follow me. But he said, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. And Yahushua said unto him, let the dead bury their dead, but go thou and preach the kingdom of Yahweh. Okay, so that's kind of like a twofold. He says, let the dead bury the dead. You know, he says, well, let me go back up. He says, suffer me first that I go and bury my father. He's like, I'll go do that, but wait a minute. First, let me go do this. You know, let me go take care of something else first. Or, you know, who's not to say that the father ain't dead yet? Well, wait a little minute. After, you know, after I get so many years in at this job, or after I have a child first, or after I get married, I'll do the work then. Or, you know, how in the carnal sense, you know, you see these women and men, they live a wicked life, and when they get old, they want to go and try to serve the Lord, or go into, you know, those whorehouses to worship, you know, Christianity and stuff like that. So just hold on a minute. Let me do me first, and then I'll come in when I'm ready, you know. And he says, let the dead bury the dead. He's like, all right, well, shit, if you want to go out there and go do that carnal stuff, you go out there with them, you know. Like, that's, you don't even understand, like, you know, in the sense that, you know, the dead burying the dead here, you know, in the literal sense. He's like, well, he already dead, you know. You can go ahead and go with him, you know, because if you really understood what was going on, you know, you wouldn't pertain to that, because you'd understand. You see him on the other side, but you're gonna miss out because you're worried about something that's already dead. So go ahead and get on that dead ship, and, you know, you can sink with it, you know. Verse 61. And another said, Lord, I will follow thee, but let me first go and bid them farewell, which are at home at my house. And Yahushua said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow looketh back is fit for the kingdom of Yahweh. And again, you know, this is deep one. You know, this one is like, you know, you want to go do the work, you know, and then all of a sudden you want to go back into the world. You know, you want to go back to your old self. You want to go back to, you know, well, you know, you're not fit to, you know, if you want to go do this and then you fall back out, like how the scriptures say, you want to crucify Yahushua afresh. You know, you want to ask for repentance twice. You'd be like, yo, let me go back out into the world, you know. Like, no man is fit for the kingdom. You know, you want to start this, and then you want to go back, you want to go do something different, then come back into this. You know, you got to be in this all the way. First time, first serve. It says, let me go bid them farewell, which are at home at my house. So he says, so he came up, you know, he heard, basically as an example, he heard the selling point, you know. Somebody's trying to make you a sale, like, look, we got this offer you can't resist, blah, blah, blah. Do you want to buy this? Yeah, but let me go home and get my wallet real quick. Now, if you leave now, the offer don't stand no more, you know? That type of deal. You can't go back now. Look, it's either now or never. You got to put forth now. You can't wait. Can't prolong this, especially now. We in the end. You don't know if next month, tomorrow, next week, you know, you don't know if none of this is going to be. You see the microchip being pushed, you know? It's heavy, you know. World War III being pushed is being heavy, you know. You see the confusion of faces coming in. You see people waking up. You see all the other camps, you know, collapsing upon themselves. You know, everybody's being exposed. It's time to be on fire for this deal, you know. It's time to wake up. It's time to stand in your lot. It's time to be who you were supposed to be. It's time to be, you know, to serve your whole purpose that you put here for, you know. And a lot of you new Akim, you know, you feel it in your spirit. You've always felt it in your spirit, you know. This thing is real, you know. Those things that you feel isn't just your imagination. Look around you. You see all these people putting these videos up. Who do you think we're talking to? We're talking to you. You know, we're laboring in this truth and sincerity day in, day out, whatever times of the day it is, you know. And we're doing this for you, you know. We doing this, first and foremost for the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, but we doing this for the elect's sake, So it's time to do the work. You can't let those type of things like your family hold you down, and carnal things of the world hold you down. You want to go do this and go do that first. You have to put this first and foremost. The Most High said He kept us as the apple of His eye. How much more should we keep Him as the apple of our eye? His will, We're supposed to be striving to do the will of the Most High, Especially in these times. We at the end. We about to receive a kingdom. We finna be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai. We're gonna rule forever. It's that time to stand up, Ezekiel 37 is coming to play. An exceedingly great army is being risen up right before you. Are you gonna be a part of that? Yahweh Shai said, if this was my kingdom, my soldiers would fight, basically, He said, be ye a good soldier for Yahweh Shai, So we're gonna have to, we gotta go strong, go hard to go home, And He also said, roughly paraphrasing, I'd rather you be hot or cold, but because you were lukewarm, I'll spew you out, You go hard for a lot of carnal things, Your neighborhood, your block, your sports teams, you be in your arenas with your face paint on and cheering on your teams and all kinds of stuff. How much more should you be for the Most High? That's for a carnal sense. You serving and worshiping idols in the first place. How much more should you be going hard for your brother and trying to wake them up, Putting these videos out, studying the scriptures, going through the scriptures, and just trying to edify the brother, How much more knowledge should you be trying to gain? Cramming in hours and just trying to, stack up spiritual gifts in heaven, Basically, it's like an investment fund. Like, bro, you got to invest in spiritual riches, How much more should you be going hard? You know how they had that movie Wolf of Wall Street, and Homeboy was going hard for that money, right? We got to go hard for this money too, Whether that be, reading in the scripts, praying more, putting up videos, edifying, those type of things, You first and foremost, you got to work out your own salvation. So you got to examine yourself on what you slacking on and what you could be going harder on, So, you know what I'm saying? This that time, Akim, it's time to wake up. It's time to stand in your light and play your part, It's time to be who you was meant to be. Like they have for the army, be all you can be. Now be all that you was created to be, Be exactly what the Most High created you to be, Pray for discernment and that the Most High, that the Most High give you, how do you say, He put it on in your spirit to give you the faith and the courage and the strength, basically, to push forth, and not to fall to temptations that this might not be. You're gonna always get those carnal thoughts in your mind that maybe this isn't for you and this isn't that. You wouldn't be getting those thoughts if it wasn't like that. You wouldn't be doing the things you'd be doing. You wouldn't be watching these videos if that was the case. We don't have to keep convincing you. That this thing is real. This is real. This is that time, and you are somebody supposed to be doing something for the Most High. It's the greatest job on the earth. Like Yahweh Shai said, like my mother and my father on a physical sense. Nah, what's more important is my brother that's doing the work of the Most High, So with that, I hope Lord willing, this video was edifying, I just wanted to put that video out there, Spirit got on me to get into that, So with that, I want to say all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and much love to you brothers just pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth. Kwam Yashala, Shalom.